Hey guys, so I hope you are ready for some spooky stories today. As I mentioned before, I really enjoy reading stories from Jezebel, so that is where I will be reading stories from today. I really hope that you enjoy them, so please get comfy and let's get started. Alright guys, so this first story is called Backwards and Forwards and in One Place by Nomi Malone. So it says, a few years ago I asked my significant other if he had ever seen a ghost. He got really uncomfortable and squirrely, lots of hemming and hawing. Annoyed, I said, just yes or no. I won't judge if you think you have seen a ghost. I'm a skeptic and figured he didn't want to sound like a rube or something. Turns out he was hesitant because he believes he saw one, but it was while he was deployed on a mission in the Middle East. And he was thinking of how he could describe it without giving up any classified info. The story is, he was in the spooky, vague Middle East where there was a commotion from the soldiers watching the perimeter. Apparently, they could see a man about 100 yards away from the camp. He had appeared out of nowhere and no one saw him walking up. The man was just standing there, not doing anything threatening. But since there was a strange man in a war zone, they broke out all the high-tech gear to see what was going on. They could see his face, his clothes, his height, but he looked bizarrely distorted and he was not giving off a heat signature. They have infrared jams and whatnot. It's the freaking military, not a piddling ghost hunting troop here. He was not the temperature of a human being. He was the temperature of the air around him. They had no idea what was going on and people were freaking out. At this point, I said some obvious stuff. Maybe it was a scarecrow or dummy or a shadow, or the soldiers were really tired and delirious and their eyes were playing tricks on them, or it was a hologram weapon shaped like a human. His response: they called different people up to come look at the man. It wasn't just a few soldiers who saw this. Dozens of people came to look and everyone confirmed that it was definitely a person. Eventually, they decided to send out a team to check the guy out. When they got about 50 yards away, the man started walking, only it didn't look like he was walking towards or away from them, only walking in place. They froze expecting an attack, but the man never got any closer. Me. So he was moonwalking? Ooh, a terrorist with dancing moves. Scary. His response: it looked like it was trying to walk, but instead of moving like a regular person, its bones were breaking and splintering backwards and forwards at the joints. I can't think of a better way to describe it. Its head was jerking around like a puppet. When the convoy got a few yards closer, it disappeared entirely. The team hauled ass back to the camp, and as soon as they returned, the man thing reappeared in its spot. Everyone took turns watching it for an hour or so until it disappeared for good. Didn't walk away, didn't fly or melt or explode, just stood there for a long time, then vanished. Honestly, that sounds terrifying. I can actually imagine myself looking at that and just fuck that. Alright, you guys, so the next story is called Come In With Me by Foxtrot Echo. So I grew up in a house with a lot of ghost goings on. Our house growing up was about 400 years old, so a lot went on, but nothing too sinister. This event actually took place in my mom's new house, a little one-bed cottage actually built in the 80s. We'd been out for dinner, me, my mom, and my mom's husband. We'd had a couple of drinks, but nothing major, and headed back to the house. My mom and her husband headed up to the bedroom and I sat up on the sofa bed. The downstairs was really small. There was one room with the front door at one end, a semi-wall partition, and then straight through to the kitchen. The stairs come down and end in front of the front door. Anyway, I'm lying in bed and I know I'm not asleep because I've got a fucking Justin Bieber earworm stuck in my head, but I'm just lying there dozing in the dark when I hear footsteps come down the stairs. Nothing weird about that. My mom coming for a glass of water. She gets right next to my bed and says, "It's really cold down here. Do you want to come in with me?" Now, this is weird because it's actually roasting in the house. I figure she's just being weird, so I keep my eyes closed and pretend to sleep. I'm lying there fighting sleep when it dawns on me. That wasn't my mom's voice. I don't know who it was, but it wasn't her. Why would she ask me up to her room anyway? I'm 27, her husband's there. Fuck, I lie there. Now with my heart racing. Terrified to open my eyes, I realized I never heard footsteps to go back upstairs. Is it still there? I lie with my eyes screwed shut, terrified for about 20 minutes, or even who knows how long. It felt like forever. Before I get up the courage to open my eyes and lunge for the light switch, nothing's there. I run around turning on all the downstairs lights. I must have made a right noise because then my mom comes down the stairs for real. I ask her, I am very serious. Did you come talk to me just now? Of course not, she says. Then I just burst into tears. What if I had opened my eyes? Where did it want me to go with it? The end. Okay, definitely super creepy. I think I would have been creeped out by my own mom for a couple days at least. Alright, you guys, so the next story is called It Wanted Us Gone by Turd Ferguson. This is a story of a crazy haunting that took place over 9 to 10 years. So there's a ton of detail I could put into it. Heck, every bit of it could be its own haunted horror story. Just writing it gives me flashbacks of the terror. In all seriousness, I used to laugh at ghost hunter TV shows and I openly mocked people who believed in ghosts. My husband was one of them. I thought he was just a loose nut about those things. Then when I was pregnant, things began to happen to us. Well, me, in the house. All slowly and all very explainable at first. Cold drafts, doors opening, lights turning on or off, footstep sound, smells, shadowy figures. I was just so set in thinking that ghosts were not real, that for every event I had some kind of scientific explanation for it. After all, the house we bought was built in 1823 with a fieldstone foundation and remnants of the old knob and tubing electricity. The floors weren't level and the walls had new cracks, so there had to be some shifting and settling going on. As the weirdness began to ramp up, I started running out of explanations. Footprints in the snow and mud leading up to our house, but not walking away. Finding things in and around our house that we didn't have, didn't buy, didn't put there, or wouldn't have put there because it makes no sense. The bedroom door slamming shut with nobody touching it. The front door swinging wide open in the middle of the night despite having been locked. After my baby was born, things turned terrifying. Things would be moved around the house. Knives were thrown and stuck into our door. Tarot cards with terrifying meanings were found on my baby's crib pillow. My baby would begin crying in his sleep every night between midnight and 1 a.m., but not wake up. We kept the baby in our bed between us because it felt safer than having him all alone in his crib. Upon waking up to my baby's cries, I would fall into this heavy, irresistible sleep, yet I was fully conscious as though I were not sleeping. Then my husband would experience physical events, scratches, being pulled out of bed, or having his arm pulled. I could hear him and I would feel the bed move from his movements, but no matter how hard I tried, I was unable to open my eyes or sit up until the event was over. We had the house blessed, we had investigators come in, we had people pray, and we had psychics clear the space. The strange events stopped. The midnight crying, the sounds, the things appearing in our house, everything stopped really quickly. The investigators never told us what they heard on the recordings. I'm not sure I ever want to know, and I hope that whatever was haunting us is gone for good. Well, I'm glad they got rid of it, because a lot of times when you get a house blessed for whatever reason, it actually gets worse, right? So I'm glad that in their case, it stopped almost immediately, and I hope that it doesn't happen anymore. Alright, you guys, so these are all the stories for today. I hope that you got creeped out at least just a little bit. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.